Bitcoin is an ideology that spawned a protocol that created an asset that circulates on a network. The ideology is sovereignty, sound money, freedom and property rights, right? Dignity of the human spirit, ownership of your life force, economic sovereignty and immortality. That's the ideology of Bitcoin. And Satoshi gave us that.
All right, legends. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Let's do a little bit of technical analysis here on the price of Bitcoin. It's going to be brief, it's going to be bright, and I'm going to be gone. It is late, a little bit of a late live stream, but remember to smash up that like button. And let's see what is cooking here with the price of Bitcoin. We can maybe jump through a couple of alts. I know everyone is alt crazy at the moment, so let's look at some of your favorite alts. I have... Sorry guys, I just need to change this song here in the background. I thought I heard myself talking. Let's do this. Right. Excuse me. So I know everyone is a little bit alt crazy at the moment, so you know, I have explained to everyone during numerous live streams the altcoins that I have. Swing positions open. I have a couple of spot bags. I don't have a lot of altcoins, less than 10. Okay, I have less than 10 altcoins in my portfolio. I'm keeping it small. I'm keeping it manageable this time around. If we're going to get that crazy altcoin season that we are all expecting here to the upside, I want to be able to manage my portfolio like a pro. I want to be able to take profits. I want to be able to have my limit orders. I want to be able to manage these trades properly. Okay, so during the previous bull cycle, I had over 50, 60 altcoins, and it was just an absolute nightmare to manage. This time around, I'm doing it a little bit different. But during this live stream, okay, I will take a couple of altcoin requests and see what you are looking at, what you maybe have in your portfolio, what you are eyeing, and we can see, well, you know, from a structural perspective, does it look good? And can it get some amazing momentum to the upside? But just remember that a rising tide does raise all ships. So I do expect that most altcoins will explode to the upside. The question is which ones are going to pump the hardest. Right. Right, legends. Only 65 people in the live stream. Now it's a little bit late, I suppose. But anyways, I know that there's a lot of people that's going to rewatch the stream a little bit later. So currently Bitcoin is finding a little bit of upwards momentum. So let's quickly just do a very quick update here on the price of Bitcoin. And guys, I mean, I played this long. Yesterday I did a private Discord community update. This is why, excuse me, I didn't go live yesterday. Okay, I did a private Legends Pro community update and we caught the long. We caught the long, right? So let me quickly play this for you guys just to see, well, what did Dewald smoke his socks or what was happening? Let me just put the music here and see if you guys can hear. But this is basically what I discussed yesterday. So let me put the music off here in the background and play for you. This is exactly what I told the community yesterday morning. The site looks very corrective. It doesn't look impulsive. So there's a chance that price is going to find support in this zone. Price is going to find support in this zone and, you know, maybe come and hit this little resistance area over here. So this is the trade that I'm looking for. Wherever it finds support, okay, this is the trade that I'm looking for. Just to keep it simple. If it goes higher, let it go. Okay, well, I will maybe leave a little bit of the position open if it hits these levels. Okay, that is exactly what I said, legends. Right? This is the trade that I highlighted. I told the legends I already opened up a position as we took that little dumpy dump there to the downside. I already opened a position, but I'm going to add to the position either if we swing failure the lows or if we tap the 1.236. We swing failure at the lows. I added a little bit more to the position, and right then we took this trade together, myself in the Legends Pro community. I'm not sure if everyone jumped into the trade, but I mean, this was the trade that we spoke about yesterday to perfection, that played out. And that is exactly what happened. So a little bit of a recap. I was looking at this structure. I know, guys, there's a little bit of a debate going on at the moment. Super chat. Guys, I will go through some. Ika, ooh. Legends Pro community, yeah, with a super chat. Caught the long. Fib extension worked perfectly. Yes, I think we tapped the 1-to-1 fib extension. When you take a trend-based fib from the high to the low, to this little high, you drag it across. I mean, look at that. The 1-to-1 fib extension held to perfection. And this is such a common target for a three-wave structure. Very common target for a three-wave structure, because it does look like a three-wave down, correction up, and another three-wave down. Okay, it really, for me, it screams three-wave structure. It doesn't scream impulsiveness to the downside. And 1-to-1 extension, and I told the Legends Pro community, if the 1-to-1 doesn't hold, the next level is the 1.236 together with the range low. Beautiful alignment over here. I really wanted this level to be tapped, but I did tell the Legends Pro community, there's a chance that if the market is really bullish, we are going to front run this zone. So I will consider a swing failure pattern from the lows as well. So Ika, I know you and the Legends Pro community, you were all inside of this little stream that I did yesterday. Ika's also a really good Elliott wave counter, by the way, guys, and she's inside, or he or she, I'm not sure, I think it's a she, is inside of our Legends Pro community, helping, guiding, sharing scenarios. If you guys would like to join our Legends Pro community, as always, the link is here down in the description to join our Legends Pro community, where I do private live streams, answer as many questions as I possibly can, focus on education, how to read the structures, the trading setups that I'm looking at. Andy is in there. We've got Aditya in there. We've got some technical analyst, Dylan, that loves to trade altcoins. He also did a live stream, I think, this morning, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, there's a lot going on, guys. And if you want to join, here's the link down in the description. Okay. So all good and well, right? So now we are inside of this trade, and this was my profit-taking area. And I've already, with this little week yet to the upside, I already nibbled on some profits. Okay, well, 60% profits. And I'm letting the rest of the position run a little bit, because I want to see how price is going to react at this daily level. Okay, this is now what I want to see. How is price going to react at this daily level? Because we ever so slightly, the price front run this level. So it's either going to just front run it and start moving to the downside, or it's going to SFP this level. And that is for me a potential scalping shorting opportunity, depending on how price reacts at this level. If it starts closing some high time frame candles above the level, I'm going to leave it, let it run. Okay, I need price to pierce the level and start trading below. That is my short entry. That is where my stop loss goes. As soon as price moves in my favor, you guys, you know the drill. Protect position and take profits when you start hitting resistance or support here to the downside. Okay, so I can successfully short the market even in a strong uptrend, like the short that I took over here that I shared inside of the live stream on either Monday or Tuesday. Can't remember. Okay, sorry, on Monday. I caught that short, right? And I told the legends that if you know what you're doing and you can apply great risk management, you can short an uptrending market very successfully. You just need to be aggressive with profit taking, and you need to manage your risk absolutely fantastic. Right, so at the moment, guys, I'm just in this long position over here in no shorts at the moment. I do see we have some local bearish CVD building up, okay, which could be invalidated because this, I mean, we tapped the 0.88, which screams that we're most likely going to take that high. We'll see, but you can see between these two pivots, right? You have a lower low on price action and you have higher highs on CVD, massive higher highs here on CVD. So, and the target is the lows, right? So maybe, you know, there's a chance you SFP that daily level and you fall back down here, and at least to come and sweep up these lows. So that is maybe the shorting opportunity that I'm looking at, depending on how price reacts at that level. Okay, but guys, this was the trade, right? This was the trade here to the upside. Excuse me. So the range low strategy, they play out to perfection. Okay, this is what we were waiting for. The range low, and I think I have explained it on Monday's live stream, the range low strategy. I went through the rules, the details, how it works. If I didn't do it on Monday, I definitely did it yesterday with the Legends Pro community. Waiting for the range low, like what happened here. This was an absolute fantastic trade with the range low. I call it the tap and go strategy. Okay, you have a pump with high volume. Okay, you have a pump with high volume. That first little low that you make becomes the range low, and then I call it the tap and go. It needs to tap and go, right? You don't want price to stuff around over here. If price starts stuffing around over here, okay, and it doesn't go, then you increase the probabilities of filling the inefficiency. And that is exactly what we were waiting for up here, okay? But I know that price also likes to front run. So I wanted this to be a tap and go, and we front run this level. But based on the structure and the trend-based fib extensions, I knew, okay, that price could find support here, swing the lows. Okay, you basically grab all of the liquidity. As soon as price gets acceptance back above this level, you know that the damage to the downside has been done. Now it needs to go and do damage to the upside. It needs to go and grab the liquidity to the upside. And now we got the momentum here to the upside. So, right, legends, the question is, okay, now I want to take us through two scenarios that I'm currently still watching. Okay, let's go here onto the 1 hour time frame. So scenario number one is a little bit more conservative. So let's just focus on the bullish case scenarios over here. So on the 1 hour time frame, I have two bullish case scenarios, and I will talk about the bearish case scenario as well, because a good technical analyst will always have a bullish and a bearish case scenario. Okay. But I have two bullish case scenarios and I have one bearish case scenario. So maybe, you know, the bulls are still in control. We are still making higher highs. We are still making higher lows. And it's not over until it's over, right? The trend is up, okay? We have to acknowledge the trend is up. And it's still in your best interest to look for longs. And this is why I was looking for this long over here, like I was looking for the long over there. Okay. So scenario number one is a little bit of a more conservative scenario, and I know it looks a little bit messy, but when I start explaining it, it will make a lot of sense. So maybe let me just take this line out to clean it up. Okay, so this is a little bit of a more conservative scenario. I have received a question from some members saying that, Dewald, some people have an extra 4-5 and an extra impulsive wave in here. The reason I did it like this is to just be conservative. That's it. Okay, right, legends. Basically, you have formed a 1, a 2, and now we have completed the third wave to the upside. So now we are waiting for a larger corrective structure before we get the final push to the upside. Okay, in this scenario, where you can see inside of number 3, you already formed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You now need a little bit of a larger corrective structure to finish after the 0.382. So based on this scenario, this is too soon to be the low. It's too early. Okay, it's too early. This low needs to be made on the 19th of July, 2 o'clock in the morning, Central European time, at least. So this is why I'm still looking at a larger corrective structure to finish after the 0.382, and then we have that final push to the upside. Okay, and it can really rock and roll to the upside. I don't know how high that fifth wave is going to go, because, you know, when retail starts getting involved, they can really push the price a lot higher. So let's say a round little number, let's look at $130,000, where this fifth wave can potentially end up as. Okay. Right, this little structure here to the downside, like I said, does not look impulsive to me, but it doesn't matter. Okay, let me explain. I don't care if it's a 3-wave structure or if this is a 5-wave structure. I don't care, because an A wave can be a 3-wave and a 5-wave structure. It doesn't matter. That's why I labeled it A. Okay, so whether this is a 3-wave or whether this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm still labeling it as an A wave. This little wave that we're now getting to the upside needs to be a B wave. But now this is where the problem comes in. Okay? This B wave, I just have to tell everyone, can be a flat. Okay? That's a B flat. You take the high. Dewald was wrong. We are now doing the 5th wave. No, it's still part of the corrective structure. Okay? I have targets for this B wave, excuse me, especially if it's a flat. You will take your trend-based fib from the high to the low. You reverse it to the upside, okay, and these are your flat targets. I can tell you guys now, if the B wave rejects inside of this little box, okay, correction ain't done. So pay attention, guys. B waves are notoriously difficult to trade because they have so many targets, right? It can fall down from where it is right now. Okay, so just to take this fib out the way, to clean up the chart a little bit, you can create a B flat, or you could literally just fall down from here, and then you have your C wave here to the downside. Okay, but what you are looking for is a 3-wave structure. You want a 3-wave structure. Whether it does this, whether it does that, you're looking for a 3-wave structure. Okay, it can get more complex, where this could potentially be the low and you are forming a larger. Okay, let me take this one out the way. Let's replace it with a WXY. So guys, complex or corrective structures can get very complex. Okay, let's do this. You basically formed a 3-wave structure in a W. Okay, you form a complex corrective structure in an X. Doesn't matter where it rejects. If it rejects at the 786 to the upside, then Y typically will not take the low of W. So all I'm trying to highlight is you could get a corrective structure that ends over there, where you basically have a W, a X, a triangle in a Y. Okay, you have that little triangle and you break out. So I don't know. I need more data. Okay, at the moment, all I have is 2 waves. That's all I have at the moment. I cannot make any trading decisions based on 2 waves. What I can do is keep an eye on the levels that's above. Right, so this is the one bullish case scenario that I am currently keeping an eye on. For now, from a simplicity perspective, I'm just going to say, well, let's just label it as an ABC because it's the most common corrective structures. Let's just label it as an ABC. A normal 3-wave corrective structure. Okay, A, B, C. Okay, invalidation, very important. This is why I have this line. This 4th wave is not allowed to tap the 0.618 taken from this low to this high. Okay, if we are expecting a 4th wave over here and still another push to the upside, whatever happens over here is not allowed to tap $112,000. Right, just keeping it simple. Then I have another bullish case scenario, very, very similar, but ever so slightly different. Okay, let me just bring the price a little bit back, take this out the way, put that in there. Okay, I'm going to leave that box over there, and now we have bullish case scenario number 2. Okay, and you will notice it just extends a little bit and it goes a little bit higher. Okay, and I think this is the one that Andy is also talking about. I think this is the one that Koens is also talking about. I acknowledge this bullish case structure. I'm just trying to be a little bit more conservative, okay, because the difference between this one and this one is just a little bit more conservative. That's it. So I don't want to run ahead and say that there's more 1-2s in the structure, because the more 1-2s you have, the more bullish it becomes. Okay, so I'm just trying to be a little bit conservative, but there is a little bit of a more bullish structure where you have formed 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 5 4 5. Okay, and you can go up to $135,000. Okay, depending on how aggressive it gets here to the upside. But also, guys, I'm applying the same rules. You can see that even if I build in multiple 1-2s in this structure, multiple 1-2s, okay, and I now look at this push here to the upside from wave 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, okay, there's a problem over here. There's a problem, okay? So I'm not saying it's a big problem, but I'm saying it's a problem, right? So when I look at this little push here to the upside, look at the green count, 1, 2 to 5, okay? When I look at this push here to the upside, okay, this impulse, when you have 5 structures inside of an impulse, this impulse needs to correct itself. And this low was made before the 0.382. So can you guys see that I'm still expecting a little bit of a larger corrective structure? I'm not saying I'm looking for a corrective structure that does this. All I'm saying is it just needs to go a little bit more sideways. It needs to go a little bit more sideways and hopefully maybe tap the 0.5 Fibonacci over here, taken from this low to this high. Okay, because now look at the blue count. You have 1, 2, 3. I'm now looking for 4 to finish after the 0.382 and the final 5th wave to the upside inside of the blue structure. Then the white structure still needs a 4 and another 5. So you can see the only difference between the two scenarios is that this scenario has another leg to the upside. So it's more bullish. Right. This is basically what I'm seeing, guys, and also the same rules is exactly the same rules. The only difference between the two structures is this one's invalidation is a little bit higher. Okay, it's a little bit higher at $113,500, and your B flat target is exactly the same. Also, you can create a B flat. You can dump from where you are right now. Doesn't really matter, but I'm looking for the B wave to end in this zone, and you're looking for a 3-wave corrective structure. Okay. Finding support at maybe the 50% Fibonacci and then bouncing here to the upside to go and make another high. Right, but from a timing perspective, you know, guys, I'm just a guy of probabilities at the end of the day, and you know how much I focus on time, okay? For me, it's not time yet, okay? If it bounces here and it claims the high, so be it. But I can tell you guys now, if it rejects in this little box, I'm going to be like, okay, now you have an ABC flat. Then you go back up. Right. Clean out the market on top. Clean out the market. Everyone that longed this little zone and didn't take profits. Okay. You clean it. You grab the liquidity. You reset the market. I love flat structures because they are specifically designed to reset the market. I love it. And they play out very often. Okay. ABC flat. After the 0.382 and then another 5 wave to the upside. And then when price gets here, now this is going to be the big question, okay, between the two scenarios that I have at the moment. The big question is going to be after we make these highs, after we make this high, okay, do we go back down for 4 and 5 or do we have a deeper correction where the structure is done? And then we move up from there. Now that's going to be the question. So we'll just have to analyze the price once it gets to that, whether the correction is 3-wavy, whether, you know, basically what we did over here. You all know the story, okay? What I did over here, Guys, this looks corrective. Probabilities are higher to claim the high. It doesn't matter how low it goes, the probabilities remains higher that we're going to claim the high before we claim the low. And this is what I kept on singing the song. So whatever happens here to the upside, if Bitcoin does start to have a little bit of a scary correction to the downside, I will analyze the structure and I will have probabilities. Is the probabilities higher to claim the high again before we claim the low, or is it starting to look really bad and we are building 5 waves to the downside, 3 waves to the, is it starting to look impulsive to the downside where we're going to claim the low? For now, the bullish structure is intact and we play the trend until there's no more trend to the upside. Right. Cool, legends. That is basically what I am looking here and on the price of Bitcoin from a bullish case perspective. I will only start looking at extreme bearish case scenarios once both my invalidations on these scenarios get tapped. If price does not make new highs and it starts falling down here and it claims these invalidations, then we're going to start looking at some serious bearish case scenarios. Okay, until then, I'm going to remain bullish. So if I have to pick a side, I'm just going to say I'm picking a side until these 2 levels are hit. So I don't really want to even waste any time discussing bearish case scenarios, okay, until the bearish case levels are hit, where it forces me to then look at bearish case scenarios. Okay. Just to keep it simple, guys. Otherwise, the live stream is going to be just way too long. The one thing that I will tell everyone is on the daily time frame, okay, when you look at the structure, macro ABC, okay, this is still very much in play. So this is basically the bearish case scenario where it could get really nasty to the downside. I have discussed the probabilities of this scenario. It carries lower probability than the bullish case scenarios, but just simply put, you have completed 5 waves to the upside on the daily time frame, and this is all part of a larger corrective structure where you could go and claim $74,000 again. Okay, what I would want to see, and we have now, by the way, we've hit the maximum target for the B flat. Okay, we've literally tapped it to perfection. So a very interesting space where Bitcoin stopped. Okay, Bitcoin stopped at inside a B flat target box. Very interesting. Okay, I will only exit my positions if I see this. And this is where I will exit. Okay, so price needs to tap the invalidations. It needs to form a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave structure to the upside. And when this starts looking corrective and 3 wavy to the upside, this is where I am literally going to close all my positions. I will never sell any of my Bitcoin, but I will exit my swing positions. Not here, yeah. Okay, because I could still recover some of my money during this input, okay? Maybe I'm underwater here with my altcoin portfolio. It lifts me back out of the water and I exit. But I need to see this before I will exit any of my positions. For now, the price is bullish and I need to respect the trend. The trend is your friend until the very end. The trend is up, so I cannot bank on a bearish case scenario if I do not see a bearish sign. I don't see a bearish sign yet. So for now, I remain bullish. Okay, it's as simple as that, guys. Right? Maybe too simple. Okay, so that is basically what I see here on the price of Bitcoin. Okay, so maybe in the site, this local structure. Okay, B waves are notoriously difficult to trade. So if this is an A and this is now a B wave forming over here and we're going to go down for a C, B waves, and it's something that I told the Legends Pro community as well, B waves are notoriously difficult to trade because they have so many levels. Okay, right, this was an easy trade for me. It just made sense. Okay, the profit taking area, which we've now hit, did make sense. We also have that daily level. Okay, you have basically basic technical analysis, okay, without even jumping into Elliott wave theory or anything. Okay, all right, guys. You you found the price stopped. Let me try and explain it better. Price stopped, and it started consolidating sideways. And it just didn't want to take these lows. It just, it made the lows almost at exactly the same place. When I see this type of price action, and you see that where price dips below and it starts trading back above in the same range, that, ladies and gentlemen, is a bullish sign. That is a really bullish sign. And like I told the Legends Pro community yesterday, is regardless of Elliott wave theory, when I see this price action, okay, I want to take a long. And then this becomes resistance. This is the biggest amount of resistance that when you look to the left, okay? When you play along or you enter a trade over here, you always look to the left. This is resistance, a consolidation area. This is where I plan to take profits. Okay. Right. So that is the trade that we are in at the moment. The only short that I will consider is here from the daily level, like I've explained. Where did I put now my daily levels? Here we go. Right, which we front run. We haven't tapped the daily level just as yet, but I will also consider, okay, let me see if I take a fib here from the high to the low. Okay, let's see if we have any other areas of confluence. Yeah, I must say there's a couple of shorts I will consider. Well, it's two shorts that I will consider. I want to see how we're going to react at the daily. We haven't tapped it yet. We front run it by a couple of dollars. So if price had to get another leg here to the upside and it rejects, I will attempt a short. I know you might think that I am smoking my socks because Dewald is talking about shorts and we are in bull market. Right? Guys, I can play these little shorts to the downside, like the one that I caught over there, right? And the 618, and the reason I like the 0.618, if price gets a little bit more punchy here to the upside, is these two pivots. Okay, if price pierces those two pivots and it starts trading, so you can basically use your 0.618 as a swing failure line. If price pierces the level and starts trading back below, that will be a short entry with my stop above the high. Okay, so it is very dangerous to short an uptrend. I know, guys, it's very dangerous, but if you can manage your risk properly and you know where to take profits, it can be very successful. So it is unfortunately for experienced traders, if you know what you are doing. But I know most of you have been following me for quite some time, so you know what you are doing, right? Okay, cool, legends. Currently getting a little bit of dumpy action here to the downside. I've explained all the scenarios that I'm currently watching. So now let's go and discuss some altcoins. How's that? Give us now our daily fib. Let me say hi to the community. Mr. Lee, welcome to the live stream, man. Yeah, good idea. Look at BTC dominance. Let's look at BTC dominance. I saw it dumping this morning. This is why we got some popcorn effects for some of our lovely altcoins. Okay, Bitcoin dominance. Let's go to the 12-hour. Ooh, I mean, look at this, guys. Love is flowing into the altcoins at the moment. So here on the 12-hour time frame, guys, I'm just keeping it very, very simple over here. I'm not going to overcomplicate it from an Elliott wave perspective or even from a Fibonacci perspective. Purely from a price action perspective, okay, we have lost the trend. You've lost the momentum. The trend is your friend until it is not your friend anymore. You're losing momentum. Okay, the biggest area of support that I can see here from a price action perspective is 62%. So potentially dominance is still going to continue here until it reaches 62%. So be careful with your alts when dominance starts hitting this zone because you could get a bounce. Okay, and your altcoins starts correcting, and then it can continue where you're now starting to roll over and you're making lower highs and it rolls over. But I do think, okay, there's going to be a bounce in this zone. So I think it can still continue. The party is still going to continue. The rave is still continuing. The ecstasy is still kicking in. The tequilas at the bar is still, being bought up very aggressively. The bottles are still full, but when you get here, okay, guys, just be careful to ape into altcoins when dominance hits 61, 62%. Okay, because I do think that we are going to get a bounce. It could be a small bounce and continuation, but I do think that there's going to be a bounce in the zone because you can see it has been strong support. Okay, it is strong support. Right. That is what I see from a dominance perspective. And obviously what this shows me is that money is flowing out of Bitcoin into the alt ecosystem. And I mean, guys, we can see it. I mean, ETH is up, what, 6.64% today, right? I've done a couple of counts over here, and there's a couple of things that I can discuss on ETH, but, you know, I'm going to go through some of your requests here at the moment because I feel like when I talk about altcoins, I only talk about my own altcoins. So I want to take some of your requests today. Okay. So let's open up a fresh new tab and take some altcoin requests. I want to see what you guys are looking at as well. Okay, remember guys, before I dive into the altcoins, if you want the biggest bonuses and best trading fees, lowest trading fees, okay, I've got Bluffin, 20% additional cash, depending on how much you deposit in your features account, for free to trade with. Okay, BTCC, up to $10,000 sign-up bonus. All you need is an email and a password. Weeks, 20% extra, 25% discount on your trading fees, and you will be upgraded to VIP status 1. Then Phoenix, I think they've got the $150 for free. Okay, that is still running when you're signing up. And also your way to support the channel. This is where you get the best deals that these exchanges has to offer, and it costs you nothing extra. Okay, most of the altcoins, I'm assuming that I'm going to be talking over here, like Brett, Sui, Injective Protocol, can be traded on these exchanges. Right, and you all know that I still have my swing trades running. Okay, guys, I still have my swing trades running. Yeah, they're all still in profits, grinding here to the upside. Theta, just wanted to see the Theta up 250%. 255%. Okay, Link is up 116%. Anyways, it's just been crazy here to the upside, guys. It's just been absolutely crazy here to the upside. So you guys can see my swing positions are still running over here. Okay, this is BTCC. I've got Bluffin here as well. Right, my swing positions are still running. Okay, now let's get back into the action. Okay, now let's go. Guys, I'm going to take one altcoin request per person. Okay, if you want to send me your portfolio, I don't have time to analyze your entire portfolio. Right, let's go, let's go, let's go. Injective Protocol, first one on the list. Guys, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on each altcoin, so let's see if I can just get through them quickly, but also, you know, try and keep it as accurate as possible. So INJ, USDT, let's check it out. Okay, let's go. First, you know, we start on the higher time frame. We just see what the structures look like. Ooh, now this looks great. Right, look at this buy zone, guys, that I had here on Injective Protocol. I mean, it tapped the buy zone to perfection. Okay, and it got the breakout. And dare I say, even with this little pump here to the upside, dare I say, I don't think it's too late. Okay, yes, you are exposing yourself to a lot more risk already, but based on this being an impulse and this being a corrective structure, this could be the start of another stretch here to the upside to at least come and hit this resistance area. Okay, this is major resistance here by $20. So I think that this, from a risk to reward perspective, still makes worth it to come and hit $20 over here. And right, you can also, guys, a little magic tool that you can use is you use your trend-based fibs. Okay, you take your trend-based fib. If it has a bullish structure that's formed a higher low, you take your trend-based fib from, not your fib, not your fib retracement, your trend-based fib from the low to the high to the low. You reverse it to the upside, and then you see the reactions that you get at those levels. And those levels becomes profit-taking areas as well. Okay, so I do think that Injective Protocol can still slide a little bit higher. Okay, it has not even hit any of these targets just as yet. right? But this to me is an interesting zone, especially the 1.618, because this is going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you can potentially even go and smack $27. This becomes 1, 2, and then you continue to the upside. Let's see, but it looks good. The structure looks really good. Okay. I want to see something quickly here from a logarithmic perspective. I mean, look at this, guys. Okay, talk about higher highs and higher lows. Okay, look at this. High, higher low. Okay, there's a chance it's going to rock and roll and take those highs. It has a high chance of taking these highs. Okay, and here you formed a three-wave structure to the downside. What have I told you guys about three-wave structures? What have I told you about three-wave structures? I mean, I cannot stress this enough. You have a three-wave structure to the downside, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, and the fact that this pivot overlapped with this pivot invalidates a bullish structure to the downside. So there's a high chance it's going to continue here to the upside. So Injective does not really look bad, I must say. Okay. I do have Injective as part of my spot portfolio, not a swing trade. And this is why I did this technical analysis that's already prepared, because, okay, let's go on to the next one. Okay, who's up next? Peter, can you please look at ENA? For Peter, ENA. I remember this one from the last time. Okay. The meme coins are absolutely exploding. I know that Andy did a live stream where he focused on a lot of meme coins. Meme coins is not really my cup of tea, guys. I like to be a little bit more conservative, secure, safe. You know, I don't like to gamble with too much of my money. But I know some of the meme coins, they look really, really good. And maybe I'll do a live stream where we can go through some meme coins, but it's not really my cup of tea. I'm more of a safer trader. I would rather have guaranteed profits. Okay. Anyways, so wow, I actually have done some analysis here on ENA. Okay, you guys might be thinking I'm a little bit of a magician, because every time you call up an altcoin, the analysis is done. Right. Okay. So a very interesting zone, but as you can see, okay, the one thing here about ENA, look at this. You have an insane amount of volume over here, okay? This is where the most amount of volume was traded here on ENA, and it it's at resistance. I don't particularly like to trade or to long into resistance. Okay, it's not really my cup of tea unless you have played the breakout over here. If you played this breakout and you now have a protected position, by all means, you just sit on your hands. But for me, if I'm still looking for an entry into ENA, for example, I would wait for price to break out and take that high. I want to see price take that high. I want to see a higher high. And then the retracement is where I get interested to buy into. Maybe it forms a nice little trend, it breaks out. Okay, I would rather wait for confirmation, because you are longing into resistance. Okay, which means it can reject. Okay, and also there's a lower low over here. You have lows and you have a lower low. So the market structure has not changed yet. You have high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower lows. Okay, the structure, I want to see this. I want to see a higher high, and then the retracement I will long, flipping the resistance into support. Okay, so not really from a technical perspective, not the prettiest token for me from a technical perspective. Can it pump here to the upside and go and claim the highs? Of course, of course. If dominance is going to drop here aggressively to the downside, the raising tide, guys, I cannot stress this enough. It almost, okay, doesn't matter which altcoin you bought, okay? When you get a proper altcoin season and dominance absolutely collapses to the downside, I can tell you guys, even the shittest of shit altcoin will likely get a pump. Okay? It is what it is, guys. It is what it is. The question is, which ones are going to pump the hardest? Which ones do you know from a structural perspective? Do you know where to take profits? Does it make sense from a technical perspective? So because of this low that took this low over here, okay, because of that, it's a bullish sign because you lost the value area low. You got acceptance back above. That is where you're long. That's your SFP from the low. So that was a beautiful long over there. If you're not in yet and you didn't play that breakout, well, I would say this is no place to FOMO in. Not for me, unless you have a FOMO strategy. Wait for the breakout. Wait for the higher high. Wait for the retracement and play the breakout. Wait for confirmation. Okay, that's what I'm basically saying over here. Technically, yeah, let's check the logarithmic. Technically, price has formed a higher low compared to this low. Okay, not bad, right? So it has a chance based on this. Okay, it has a chance of claiming the highs. It has a chance. Okay, because this could be your trend-based fib from the low to the high, and it's going to rock and roll here to the upside. Okay, so next, let's do this. I'm just going to scroll here to the bottom. RSR for RUM. RSR. RSR USDT. Okay. Guys, I might have a very different style of analyzing tokens, but you know, maybe when you have 2 or 3 of your favorite YouTube influencers talking about your specific token, you know, you can put the information together and draw a better conclusion. I don't know, right, guys? I do have a different way of analyzing the chart. I do try and keep it simple sometimes, just using trend lines. I just want to see what on earth is going on here with Mrs. R&R. Yeah, I think I know what I tried to do here. I tried to work out the corrective structure. Okay, but it broke out. It's still early. Okay, guys, the one thing that I can highlight over here is that when I see a breakout on the higher time frames, like the daily and the weekly time frame, when I see a breakout, okay, above a major trend, and it's chopping, usually what I do is the following. That becomes a load-up zone. Inside of that zone becomes a load-up zone, okay, because it's a bullish sign, guys. Yes, the market, you know, will never give you exactly what you want, but when you break a major trend and it's chopping, it's giving you an opportunity to get in, because once it does this, it's going to leave without you. Because looking at this looks like a token that doesn't do this, okay? It looks like a token that does this, right? So once it pumps, it's gone. It's going to do this, and you need to know where to take profits, because it also does that, right? So you need to know where to take profits. Okay, but for me, from a spot perspective, it still looks good, right? You have a low, you have a higher low, you have potential bullish structure, corrective structure, and it's only getting started to at least come and claim these highs. Take your trend-based fib from the low to the high. Go and see where your 1.236, your 1.618, okay? This is, guys, from a trend line perspective, this is always a great profit-taking area. Okay. Can it go higher? But do you, yes, it can go higher, but do you want guaranteed profits? Okay. At least take your initial investment out when it gets there. Right, so structurally it looks good. You have a low, you have a higher low, you have a higher low. Okay, so it has a bullish structure. It has higher lows. That is great. That's what I like to see. Unlike the previous token that I've analyzed, it has a lower low. Don't really like to see that. Okay, because I can use this structure to gain momentum here to the upside. Okay, remember, guys, these altcoins can be traded with the links down in the description for the best sign-up bonuses and lowest trading fees. Okay, next up, let's see. What else do you guys have here in store? Fetch. Muhammad, let's look at Fetch. I don't mind looking at Fetch because yesterday, let me show you guys. Yesterday, what happened yesterday? Okay, yesterday, remember, guys, everything that I've just told you. Okay, let's just zoom into this price action. Yesterday, I bought a little bit more yesterday. I bought a little bit more here by these weeks. Okay, or that weeks. It was either yesterday or Monday. Sometimes early this week, I bought a little bit more. I wasn't happy with the position size, so I added a little bit more. From a spot perspective, I don't have a swing trade open on Fetch. Okay, so I love the structure of Fetch. It's broken trend. Beautiful. Look at that. You have a higher high. It's breaking market structure. Do you guys see, like I've explained on that other token, okay, you have a higher high, you wait for the retracement, you buy, and then you go. So you wait for the confirmation. This is where I started buying. This is where I added a little bit. I think it's gonna, whew, I get excited. Right, let's look at it from a logarithmic perspective, because this is where things gets interesting on Mr. Fetch. Okay, right, look at this, guys. I mean, okay, don't look at the trends and the numbers or anything that I've got in there. It doesn't make any sense when I put it in logarithmic scale. But just to show you guys, you have a low, higher high, and a high. You have a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Okay, you're still looking at this structure, you still have a higher low. Okay, you have an impulsive structure to the upside. You have a three-wave corrective structure in an A, B, C, three-wave. Okay, you are starting to break local market structure with higher highs. There's a chance that it's gonna pop here to the upside to at least come and claim the highs at $3-4. Okay, I do have an insane target. Okay, I think you guys are gonna think that I'm smoking my socks. Okay, to keep things conservative, I think, and this is why I added a little bit more spot. If you zoom out, okay, look at this. Look at where price is, okay? Look at where I am planning to take profits. Okay, I will definitely take profits at the highs, specifically the 1-to-1 extension. I will definitely take profits in this zone. I will at least take my initial investment out and let the rest run. But this, guys, I mean, this is the potential that I see, $5, $7, okay? Because you could be forming your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is why I'm so bullish on Fetch. And Fetch is one of those really, together with Render, it's a really good AI token. And we all know AI is extremely hot at the moment. You know, you've got ChatGPT, you've got Core 4, you've got Gemini, you know, the world is being, you know, thumbnails, pictures, what is, you know, all these AI generating tools that's coming out. Like AI is really a big shift in how we live our daily lives at the moment. So, I mean, you want to be invested in AI. Okay. Right. Let's do number next. Socks. IMX Arena. Let's do it. IMX. IMX. Isn't IMX a gaming platform? Yeah, it's a gaming platform if I'm not mistaken. Right. Okay. Let's look. Ooh. Okay. Well, you know, like I said, guys, remember the words that I used. A rising tide will raise all ships. From a technical perspective, I don't particularly like this. Okay, I don't like that. Okay, because I like to use this structure, if it did not take the lows, to determine where the next wave can go. And because it took the lows, all you can do is go look at your resistances. Okay, your obvious resistances. Maybe you can use your VRVP. There's a nice little resistance over there. The highest is the resistance. So as price pumps to the upside, the best thing that you can do is to TP. Okay, you just TP yourself out of the position, because I can't use the structure to determine how high it can go, because it took the lows. It took the lows. So this structure cannot be used for an impulse to the upside. It has to bold this again. Right, like I said, a rising tide is going to raise all ships. It has the chance that it could come and claim the high, but it also has a chance where it's not going to claim the high because it took the lows. So it's not a pretty structure from a technical perspective based on how I do technical analysis. Okay, remember guys, and I keep on saying this when I analyze altcoins, okay? What I look at from a technical perspective, okay? This is why I have selected very specific tokens like Fetch, like Link, okay? In Elliott wave theory, okay, let me switch on the lines, okay? Your most aggressive wave, the most insane wave, the most bullish wave, where the most amount of volume is in wave 3. Okay, but you need a 1 and a 2 first. You need a smaller wave first. You need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You need a 3-wave corrective structure. You need to form a higher low so that you can benefit from this move. Okay, so the altcoins that I've positioned myself in, okay, has done this. So when I do technical analysis on some of the altcoins that you guys proposed, and I see that, okay, you don't have a 3, okay, because it took the low. So I need this structure to determine how high 3 can go, because it's the most aggressive, most bullish wave. So if you have a structure that has done this, guess what? It has to build this again before it can do that. Okay, so what will happen is it will go 1, 2, then 3, 4, 5. But it has to do this all over again. So I've positioned myself in altcoins that has already done this. So I want to just benefit from this wave. This, you know, the 3, 4, and 5. That's all I want to do. I don't have time to wait for a token to still build a 1 and 2. Okay, because they usually get very boring. Everything pumps except for your damn altcoin, and then now you know why. Okay, so from a technical perspective, that is what I look at. So when I look at IMX, and I'm not saying Irina, I'm not saying it can't pump. Okay, it will most probably pump up here, but it could come down, and then this becomes your 1, your 2, it makes a higher low, and then only does it go up for a 3, the explosive wave that you've been waiting for, okay? Or it doesn't, it just does this and this, this and this, it takes the low again. Right, and this is why I'm so specific about the altcoins that I choose. Okay, so up next, so yeah, on the smaller, Irina, yeah, on the smaller time frames, I mean, if you did play the breakout, okay, you should be well positioned. Right, it's a little bit high at the moment. Okay, it's a little bit high. Your stop should be below the low. Price is nicely here to the upside, so you could already start protecting or de-risking yourself. Okay, the target definitely is always when you have a trend line from a high to a low. Okay, the high of the D line that you are playing always becomes a great profit taking area, because it could do this, tap the trend and reject, and then try again. Okay, so that always becomes a great profit taking area for me. Right. Is there anything? Ace of Trades, I can see IOTA and STX over here, but I just want to give other people a chance as well, because I've already analyzed the altcoin for you. Chris, Brett, let's do Mr. Brett. Okay, there we go. Okay, Brett is very interesting, guys. Yeah, I mean, what can I say? Okay, if you're not already positioned, so I'm not sure whether you are asking because you still want to buy, or whether you just want to see the potential in terms of you've already bought, you just want to see where it can go to. But you can see a nice, beautiful 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have a bullish structure to the upside in a 5-wave structure. You have a corrective structure that found support at a maximum target of the 786. You have a trend, you broke out. But can you guys see, here's a perfect example what happens when you break a trend. Can you see the consolidation outside of the trend? It breaks the trend and it chops, and then all of a sudden it leaves. Okay, so you could still build a position outside of the trend, like I've just shown you in some of the previous altcoins that's still chopping here. Okay, once they've gone, it's too late, guys. You can see how this little pivot acted as resistance over here, and now it looks like it wants to break out and flip it into support and continue here until it reaches this pivot, and then next target is the high. Okay, and now you have a higher high, so you wait for the retracement. This is where you load up, and it continues back to the upside. But I mean, Brett looks great. Okay, from a local structure perspective, because if I zoom out, remember what I've told you from an Elliott wave perspective. Okay, it made an all new all-time low. Okay, so this is now 1, 2, and it can go up for 3. So at least you know where to take profits. Okay, yes, it has the chance to go and claim the highs. I don't know. Okay, but yeah, it had a bullish structure. Look at this. It had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it did not create a higher low. It took the lows, so it invalidated the 1. I was waiting for a 1. This needed to be your 2, so you can get that explosive 3 to the upside. Now, Brett has potentially built its first mini 1, 2. So it's now done this. It's done that little structure. So it can still do 3, 4, and 5. 3, 4, and 5. You use your trend-based fibs to work out your targets, because most commonly, okay, let's take it back to the structure and see what happened here. If I take a trend-based fib from the low to the high to the low, okay, look at where the third wave stopped, okay, at the 2 extension. Most commonly, it's the 1 to 1.618, but it overextended, which is perfectly fine, because in bull markets, you know, the third waves, they can rock and roll to the 2618, 3618. It doesn't really matter. But I mean, this structure should give you an idea which fib levels Brett likes. So you then take your trend-based fib, okay, from this low to the high to the low, and if it's going to repeat what it did in the previous structure, well, there is your 2 extension, okay, on your third wave. Right, up next, let's see if there's any other altcoin requests. Dewald, Jack, ICP, Fetch, AR, Flux, Fala. You can choose one to analyze. Right, which one shall we choose? Flux, I haven't looked at Flux. AR, I don't know, for some people, for some reason, no one likes AR except me, and I don't know if it's you, Jack, or someone else, can't remember. Or, anyways, but I've got a bag of AR as well. I think it's going to do great things. So let's go Flux. Let's look at Flux. Flux, USDT. Oh, it's breaking major trend. What can I say, guys? That's it. I'm just keeping it simple, okay? Without saying anything else. And I do this, okay? And I do this. That's where you build your position. You know where your stop loss goes, okay? If you guys don't know this simple trading strategy, if you don't know this simple trading strategy, where to put your stop loss and where to take profits on the way up, okay, you should not be trading, right? Like, seriously, you should not be trading. It's the simplest trading strategy out there, okay? You're breaking a major trend, okay? This trend is from 19th of March 2024. It's just been chopping down, chopping down, chopping down. It is finally showing a sign of strength. It's breaking out and it's chopping sideways. Okay. It did make a lower high over here, so it needs to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then what you want to see is ABC. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So it's going to take a while. But right, yeah, I mean, this is definitely, you know, if you positioning yourself over here, for me, this is a clear profit-taking area at 92 cents. This is such an obvious profit-taking area. Okay, look at this resistance, tapping that pivot over there. Okay, because this could be a wave 1, 2, okay? And you don't want to be in profits and then you are deep underwater, almost back at entry again, because you don't know how deep this correction is going to go. It could be shallow, it could be very deep, okay? You're almost back at entry. You made all the profits to the upside, you're back at entry, okay? And then it pops up for the third wave. Or it doesn't. Right. Cool. Legends. What else do we have here? Dewald, USDT. I love AR2, second biggest holding. Mr. Jack, yes, I love AR. But I see when I talk about AR, okay, people are not very happy here in the comment section for some reason. But Mr. Jack, I will share with you my analysis on AR privately, in Discord if you want to see it. Okay. Spreading non-financial advice, euro. Okay, let's look at those ones. What else do we have here? Euro, USD. Okay, now which one will have the most KuCoin? Yes, does KuCoin even exist still? Yeah, it's not a beautiful trend line coin, I must say. Not a beautiful trend line coin at all. Okay, so I mean, guys, I like these little deviations below the lows, also referred to as swing failure patterns, where you dip below, you get acceptance back above. That is where you're long. That's where your stop loss go. It's just a swing failure pattern on the larger time frame. It's as simple as that. Okay, and this looks like it's forming 1, 2, 1, 2. It could be another 1, 2, but eventually you're expecting that third wave here to the upside. It looks like it's forming a combo. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, or it builds another 1, 2. It makes a higher low and it continues here to the upside. But because of how much it's pumped, okay, it hasn't had that guard candle just as yet, but it looks like it might be starting to form that little guard candle here to the upside. Okay, it's not a place where I want to get into a trade. Obviously, guys, in hindsight, this was your best trade, right? That is where you get in, or you play these little breakouts. That is where you needed to get in. That is where you needed to get in. That is where you needed to get in. I cannot tell someone to buy over here. There's nothing to buy there. If you did not get in here, you had a second chance, you had a third chance, and you had a fourth chance. I cannot for the love of me tell anyone to buy here. Now you need to wait for another consolidation, okay? It's not to say that you can't get in. You just have to wait. Let price do what it wants to do. Once it starts doing this, okay, then you have your trend. Like what happened here, like what happened here, like what happened here, okay? Wait for your trend to form and you play the breakout. Okay, but while it's pumping, you do nothing. You just sit on your hands. Just be patient. The market will give you another opportunity if you're patient. Legends, these altcoins can be traded for the best deals, lowest trading fees. I've got weeks, BTCC, Bluffin. All you need is an email and a password, 20%, up to $10,000 sign-up bonus, 20% extra money that you deposit in your futures account, 25% discount on your trading fees. You get upgraded to VIP status 1 year on weeks. Guys, so, if you want the best deals that these exchanges has to offer, links are down in the description. Come trade with me. Right, what else? What is Bitcoin doing? Still crawling here to the upside. As long as Bitcoin is just chopping sideways and dominance is dropping downwards, okay, you're going to see an explosion in altcoins, okay? You're going to see the popcorn effects because money's starting to rotate. Right. What else? Dewald, when you say acceptance back above line on the 15-minute time frame, does it mean a full candle close or just the price to get back above the support? Blazing Fury is a really good question. So let's use this as an example. Okay, let's just use this token as an example. Okay, we can even use Bitcoin over here. So the recent trade that I got in over here. Okay, so this is the 15-minute time frame. And I was waiting for that swing failure pattern. Okay, so the simplest way to explain it is there's an aggressive, okay, you get different type of swing failure trading styles. You get the aggressive one and you get the patient one. Okay, I trade them both depending on what I see. So price closed a 15-minute candle below, okay, this little purple candle, it closed it below my line. So I was not interested. I did not long when price was below my area of interest. But when we closed the first 15-minute candle back above, this is where I added to my position because I had an entry in this zone over here. There was a long conversation. I told the legends why this is not impulsive. Okay, the structure didn't look impulsive to me. And I told the legends based on what's happening in this little structure, I have added and bolted a small little position. And if I see this and price gets acceptance back above, I will add to my position, which will drag my entry down, which I did. Okay, so there's two ways. If the 15-minute had to drop down and it got bought, you know, it left that week behind and it got like what happened there. That's the aggressive one where you get in. That's very aggressive. That's what we call aggressive swing failure pattern trading. But then you have the patient one where it confuses you. Oh shit, it's going to break down because it's closing 15-minute candles below the line. But then it starts closing 15-minute candles above the line. That is a bullish sign. So you enter over here. You put your stop loss below the low. Because if you protected your position too quickly, you would have gotten stopped out and price would have left without you. So it's never easy, and you know I sometimes struggle to explain it, but once you've done it 1,000 times, okay, it makes sense in your mind, and you don't often know how to explain it to people. But some of the Legends Pro community know, okay, they've done it 1,000 times, and they will even tell the new people, we've done it so many times, we're struggling to explain it. This is how we understand it, and this is how the basic principles of it works. But you're going to have to practice it. Reverse the price action, go and back test it. It's the best thing that you can do as a trader. Okay. In first position. Where was my SL in first position? At the 1.618, because I told the legends I'm building a position. So this was my plan, guys. This was my trading plan. Okay, my stop loss was far away. My stop loss was at the 1.618. Okay, that's where my stop loss was. I knew that was a very low chance that my stop loss will get hit. Because in a three-wave structure, the 1-to-1, the 1.236, and the 1.382 are common targets. So I had my stop loss over here. And I told the legends, if I build a position over here, small little position, low leverage, I increased my leverage when I added to my position. Then it's easy just to increase leverage, get some money back into the account, protect position, doesn't matter, right? So I had a position over here. And I told the legends, we're either going to do this, where I'm going to add to my position, or we're going to fall down and we're going to swing failure the 1.236 or the 1.382. But in a three-wave structure, you're not allowed to tap the 1.618. And this is why I had my stop loss here. So as soon as I saw that price trading back above, I added to my position. I then moved my stop loss up. That was my trading plan. It is a little bit advanced. Okay, I didn't share with the Legends Pro community when I entered over here, but I told them about my plan inside of the live session. Right, so that's how I plan to trade it, guys, and it's about just reading the structures. Okay, for me, okay, I did not for a second believe or think that it's a 5-wave structure. What was it? 1, 2, 3, 4 extended 5th wave. I didn't like it. Okay. The reason I didn't like it is because a 3-wave structure takes priority over a 5-wave structure that has an extended 5th wave. Remember, an extended 5th wave is a rare structure. A 3-wave structure is a common structure. So if I'm trading the game of probabilities, I would rather give the structure a 3-wave structure probability because the extended 5th wave is rare. That's literally how I played the game over here. So when I take my trend-based FIPS, I know in a three-wave structure, it is very rare that you tap the 1.618. So this to me becomes a very interesting zone based on this to build a position. So I'm reading the structure and I know where the invalidation is for the structure, where you get out, okay? Also, what I told the legends is, okay, there's a couple of ways you can trade it. I had the range low over here, right? So what I also told the legends is if price dips below the range low and it closes a 15-minute candle below, I'm exiting my position. I'm not going to wait for my stop loss to get hit, because I know the rules for the range low. Price is not allowed to dance around and close candles below the range low, because then you increase the probability of filling the inefficiency. So based on what I was going to see over here, I would have decided to exit my position or to add. Okay, so I don't have to wait for my stop loss to get hit. I can read the price action and decide whether I want to exit or not. So that was my plan, okay? Hope that makes sense. Ooh, currently above the daily over here. Now I want to see if we're going to get a reaction. Okay, what does CVD look like? Well, we took the high. No, we can still go. We can still go. Right, complex structure here to the upside. It does, guys. This looks an awful lot like a diamond pattern. This looks like a reversal pattern. We have the high amount of volume in the middle of the candle, and then from a measured move perspective, just keeping it very simple, you take a trend, just keeping it simple from the high to the low. Okay, that's your target for your diamond pattern once it breaks out. Okay, there was the trend, beautiful trend over here, where you could have also played the breakout. Okay, so from the breakout, okay, that is your target at the daily level. So there's a chance to get a rejection over here, because purely from a pattern perspective, that is your measured move. You have a daily level at exactly the same level. So there's a chance you're going to find a rejection in this zone. Just saying, there's a chance to reject. Okay, and it might be a rejection that takes the low, or it's going to be a mini rejection, build some bullish CVD and continue, and then you have a larger three-wave structure here to the upside. Okay, but for me, this is the only short that I will consider. Okay, and so basically based on what price is doing now, so the person that asked me, okay, how do you play swing failure patterns? Now that is typically where I would have jumped if I was trading. I would have jumped in right over here. As price pulled back, I jump in, I put my stop loss above the high, and when price falls a little bit further, I immediately protect my position. I don't want to give the market any money. That is an aggressive swing failure pattern. And there's always pros and cons about each trading style. The cons about this style is that you get stopped. Sometimes as soon as I enter, I get stopped out. But then there are other times, as soon as I enter, it just falls. And then everyone waiting for an entry, for a nice little retest, for continue, they don't get that. It just, oh, I missed it. So there's pros and cons to the aggressive versus the patient or the more conservative way. Okay. So if I had to trade, I would have been in already with my stop above the high. Okay, and it's teeny weeny, guys. You need to be sniper because you are shorting an uptrend. Okay, you need to be very defensive. So if I had to plan this trade, and I didn't trade it now because I'm busy here with a live stream, okay, that is targeting the lows maybe over here. I mean, look at the risk reward. It's fucking absolutely insane. But look at the stop loss, 0.07% stop loss. This is why I love swing failure patterns. You have incredible stop losses, okay? But yes, they take practice. Guys, swing failure patterns sounds easy when I talk about it and I show you over here. But to do them, you get nervous, you bite your nails, you don't know, okay? People over leverage their positions inside of these positions, okay? Sometimes what happens is if you don't put your stop loss in immediately, okay, while you put your market execution order or whatever, you enter and price just pops to the upside and it liquidates the position. So, you need to know what you are doing over here. Right. I'm obviously now not in the short, okay? But that is the aggressive way. The safer way to get in is you wait for the pullback. Okay, you take your fib from the high to the low, golden pocket 786, okay, and that is where you get in at a safer entry. Okay. Right. So there's many ways to play a swing failure pattern. Yeah, right now I think we are in some corrective choppy moves. Yes, Jeffrey, I think as I mentioned during the beginning of the live stream as well, when I went through the structures here on Bitcoin, from a timing perspective, it actually makes sense that we still correct a little bit more sideways before we just explode and go and create a new all-time high. Unless it's a B flat, okay? Unless we create a B flat over here, a B flat, A, B flat, C. Unless we do that. But there's a high chance you can do that. Right? It's just B waves are notoriously difficult to trade. Okay, right, legends. Thank you so much. Remember to smash up that like button, okay? And remember, guys, the best deals for these exchanges, Bluffin, BTCC, Weeks, Femix, no email, only an email and or a cell phone number and a password required. This is where you get the best sign-up bonuses, lowest trading fees by using the links down in the description to trade. Also, your way to support the channel costs you nothing extra. In fact, you only benefit by using the links down below. Thanks for joining the live stream, and until the next one, cheers for now.